Hey y'all, happy Thursday and welcome back to another live segment. I'm going live a little earlier today because I actually have a dentist appointment at 12:30. And I figured, I could go live earlier or I could go live later, but I think the earlier the better. Tomorrow's a holiday. I'm off tomorrow. I'm off today. It's still some things I need to do before the end of the day today, but I figured today would be at 11 would be better. And hopefully, you all, I sent out an email changing the time because I had something else pop on my calendar for 10 a.m. today, and I did not want to miss it. So I ended up changing our time to 11 a.m. So I won't be here for too long. I have three things, 3 points I'm going to touch on today in regards to patience. And I'm excited to do that. So, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Kristen Johnson. I'm the CEO and founder of Project Style University, where I help first generation personal stylists truly transform their love for styling into a profitable business. I do that through mentorship, coaching, and of course, these YouTube videos, these live segments. And I also host private, not private coaching, private programs. Y'all, I don't know where my mind just went, but private programs. So I'm so excited for everything that is coming for PSU and all the stylists who have been following the platform, following me, and just subscribing to all the conversations. As always, if you have any questions, if you have any specific topics that you want me to cover, do not hesitate to let me know. Also, Hey Stylist. If you have not joined Hey Stylist, definitely make sure you join. If you are a stylist, no matter what type and no matter where you are in your styling journey, it's a free community that is offline. So we are in a group chat where I provide different resources, different tips, different pieces of advice, opportunities, and not just me sharing, but the stylists are also sharing that information as well. So we are an intimate group so far, but I'm excited to continue watching Hey Stylist grow. So yeah, y'all. I hope y'all are excited for the holiday weekend. I know that I am, and it's basically going to be a long weekend for me, 4 days. I don't know if y'all have off on Monday, but I think I work on Monday. I don't know. But anyway, I definitely wanted to start breaking down each of these characteristics. So if you tuned into the live segment last week, then you know that I started breaking down 8 of the characteristics of a CEO stylist. And I'm always talking about these things throughout my emails, throughout my videos, throughout my YouTube lives, but I never actually pinpointed each of these characteristics. And of course, there are a ton of characteristics that you can have as a CEO stylist, but I want to say these 8 to me are the most important. And I feel like are the ones that should be prioritized. So I want to start off with patience. Um, patience. Patience. As a business owner, as an entrepreneur, as a woman of color, patience is hard. Um, being in the industry, or since being in the industry since 2013 as a blogger, 2014 as a stylist, I have had to work on my patience. I have had to grow my patience. I have had to really be intentional about being more patient when it comes to my journey and what I am experiencing and what I'm doing. Because patience is a huge part of just life. Personally, I feel like the older I got, the more I matured, the more patient I became. And to me, patience just means being intentional, being intentional and being specific about what you're doing, taking your time and not rushing into things. I know when I first started styling, I thought I needed to do everything. Like I was in everything, doing everything. I wanted to feel like I was doing something. I wanted to post and share. I wanted people to feel like I was successful. And although I was successful in my own way, I felt like I needed to always be doing something. And sorry, y'all, my nose is being weird. And I quickly realized that that wasn't the type of life that I wanted to live. That wasn't the type of life that I was called to live as a stylist, as a business owner, as an entrepreneur, as a woman of color. I remember specifically in 2018, um, it was my whole journey is based off of how I remember things, and my journey is based off of either a job that I had or what I was currently going through at the time. And I remember 2018, I want to say I had three jobs at once. Three jobs. I was working, my first big girl job was in 2016 at Trunk Club, if y'all know the story. And they let me go. I started February of 2016 and they let me go September of 2016. I was out of a job for 2 weeks. And then my boyfriend actually found me a job working as an executive assistant for a designer, a local designer here in Baltimore, a custom designer who also did bridal and really nice, unique pieces. And at the time, I figured that job was the perfect opportunity for me to, learn, still be in fashion, learn how to sew, which I did not because it just is not my ministry, but we'll see later in life. And to just use that time to continue helping another woman grow her small business. And I kept that job for about 10 months. And then I ended up leaving that job and going to another job as a customer service rep, or not even a customer service rep. I was in customer service, but I was working at a spa. So here in Maryland, we have spas called uh About Faces. I just lost the name, but I found it. About Faces. So I worked at the with the designer for 10 months, left there, went to About Faces. And About Faces for me was not enough. So mind you, this was the end of 2017. At the top of 2018, I got an opportunity to work with Under Armour. Not just one opportunity, but two opportunities. If you're familiar with Baltimore, Under Armour was created by Kevin Plank. He's born and raised in Baltimore. Under Armour is a big deal here. So I got an opportunity to work at Under Armour as a customer service rep, seasonal customer service rep. I think I want to say actually that was the end of 2017, so the holiday season, moving into 2018. And then I also got an opportunity at around the same time to work as a stylist assistant on set for Under Armour. It was basically for a marketing company, but Under Armour just so happened to be their client. And I was a stylist assistant for that particular client, Under Armour. So just randomly, I found myself juggling three different jobs: the spa, customer service rep job at Under Armour, and then a stylist assistant job at Under Armour. All of them were part time. Now I'm thinking to myself, the more jobs I have, the more money I'll make. It's literally what I was thinking. How dumb. Young and dumb. So, going back and forth, slowly but surely, I really couldn't choose because I just felt like, I needed more jobs, I needed more money. I had student loan debt, that had started kicking in 2016. So at this point, I'm 2 years in, 3 years in. I need, as much money as I can get. So I'm working all these jobs, tired, driving back and forth. None of them are close to one another. One of them was in Towson, if you're familiar. Another was um, like by the Baltimore Peninsula area, so like off Fort Avenue. Insane. And then the other one was in Curtis Bay, Maryland, which was probably about maybe 40 minutes from my house. So none of them were in close proximity. I'm working all of these jobs, sometimes going from one to the another in the same day. And I'm thinking I'm doing something. Continuing to grind, do my business stuff, like all of these things, juggling all of these things at one time. Now, what does this have to do with patience? I obviously was not patient. I knew that the more I worked, the more money I would have. The more I worked, the closer to success I would be. The more I worked, the quicker I would get to my end goal. But after working those three jobs all at once, one of them ended up slowly but surely decreasing my hours, which was at the spa. Under Armour, I had just got hired there as the customer service rep, and they're like, "We really like you. Is there any way that you can, allocate more hours for us?" They were trying to move me to full time, and I was stupid. I said, "Oh, I actually have another job." So I don't know that I can allocate more hours here. So you never tell a job that you have another job. Why would I do that? Stupid. So they ended up letting me go. I want to say in February, either February or March of 2018. And then I still was holding on to the stylist assistant job. That was freelance. So that was something that, I could do every once in a while. So after all of that, I had nothing to show for what I was doing. I'm pretty sure I didn't have much money. I was paying my student loans, which were a lot at the time back then and still are a lot to this day. And mind you, I was still living at home. So it's not like I had rent I had to pay. I was helping to pay my car note, and I didn't really have a ton of bills. My student loans was basically everything. So it was a lot, and it didn't really make sense. It didn't really make sense. And experiences like that, and I have multiple stories about things like that, and me just trying to do too much just to feel like I'm doing enough. Um, it never really worked out the way that I thought it would. So when I look back on times like that, and when I think about how far I've come, I would never do anything like that again. I would never work multiple jobs. One, two, I would never feel like, I had to even depend on any of those jobs for my financial well being. And then three, I would have more patience with myself. I wouldn't rush into things. I wouldn't say yes to everything just because it felt right. I would say yes to things that made more sense for my end goals, made more sense for what I was trying to do. And although I don't regret working all of those jobs at the same time because I've gained experiences from all of those opportunities, it's just interesting and hilarious when you think back, or when I think back on the times where I was doing things like that, thinking that I was doing something. So I say all that to say opportunities or experiences like that have really increased my patience and have made me lean more into my faith and my purpose and what I was put on this earth to do. And nobody is put on this earth to work a bunch of jobs. Nobody is put on this earth to sit back and work 1,001 jobs just to make ends meet. That's nobody's purpose. And I know that for a fact. Now, you may be called to do a bunch of different things at one time, but they may be all aligned. It may be all for a reason, but I don't think it's anybody, and it obviously is all temporary, but I don't think it's anybody's purpose to sit back and work 1,000,001 jobs for the rest of their life just to make ends meet. So when I realized that was happening, I had to take a step back, and obviously I never did that again. But I wanted today, and I wanted to share that story. It wasn't a part of my notes to share that, but I just felt led to because anybody who's listening in may be in the space where they feel like they have to do a bunch of things at one time. They feel like they have to say yes to every single opportunity that comes their way, and you don't. It's important to be patient. It's important to sit with yourself. It's important to sit with God, ask Him, get guidance from Him, listen to the Holy Spirit. Make sure that, whatever opportunities you take truly align with where you're going, and not just taking it just because of the name, not just taking it because of the money, not just taking it because you feel like, it's the perfect opportunity, when in reality, it may not be. So today I want to break down or talk about three different things in pertaining to, or that pertains to, patience. And number one, why patience is a long-term power play and not a weakness. Um, like I mentioned earlier, the older I get, the more patient I become. I feel like when you're young and you see other people doing all of these things that you may want to do, and they look to be, your age or are close to you in age, and you're like, well, wait a minute, we're the same age. We went to the same school. We live in the same neighborhood. We've done these things together. How is she or he getting all of these opportunities and, getting all of these partnerships and working with all of these brands and companies? And I'm still sitting over here trying to figure things out. How is it that he or she is able to secure that internship or that job, and is doing all of these things and traveling and all of those things? I want to do those things too, but I have student loan debt. Like, do they not have that too? Like, how is this possible? So for me, patience comes with age, I feel like, and can doesn't necessarily have to be with everybody. I mean, I feel like I'm not that old, y'all. I'm 31. Like, I'm not old. But, patience comes when you learn more and when you want to be more intentional about the decisions that you're making. And you're not comparing yourself to other people. You're not comparing your journey and your story to other people, but just focusing on what God has for you. So most stylists want instant results. And I feel like that comes from social media. I feel like that comes from us looking at other stylists, like I said, doing what we want to do. And we can't we can't focus on what other people are doing. We can be inspired, we can congratulate, we can, send positive energy over to that person. But it doesn't help to be um it doesn't help to be jealous. It doesn't help to feel some type of way because other stylists or other people in the fashion industry are doing things that you want to do. Everybody's path is created for them. Everybody there, God has a plan for all of us. And he knows all the things that is going to happen in your life before you know. Before you know what's going to happen, he already knows. So when you think about it, you're like, all right, God, you already knew that this opportunity was going to come my way. And you knew that I was going to say yes. You knew that I was going to take on too much than what I could really handle. And you knew that I was going to end up having to quit all of these jobs at once, or maybe two of these jobs out of the three. You knew that I was going to go through this. And each and everything that we experience and go through is always for a reason. It's always an opportunity for us to learn. It's always an opportunity for us to grow. And it's always an opportunity for us to um, increase our faith and lean more into, what our purpose is. So, CEO stylists understand that true growth comes with time. So I don't want to rush into creating a business that isn't strong. I want my business to have a strong foundation. I want my business to last. So when you rush into things and when you aren't patient about what you're doing, it can easily and quickly fall apart. The quicker you build a business, the quicker it can fall apart. So it's no rush to building a successful business. It's no rush to being an entrepreneur and a CEO. Like, that takes time. I've been doing this for 12 years and I still have a 9 to 5. But that 9 to 5 is doing something that is what I believe in: styling, serving, being in the fashion industry. And that's one thing that I've learned throughout my journey that works for me and that I encourage other stylists or other fashion experts or other fashion creators to do is to, if you do have a 9 to 5, get a 9 to 5 in fashion. Get a 9 to 5 working for another company doing what you actually are passionate about doing. Why get a random job doing something random that has nothing to do with what you want to accomplish in life? Now, if you enjoy that job and it doesn't align with your business or your goals or what you want to do later in life, that's okay. But for me, I knew fashion is what I live and breathe. So, in order for me to have a 9 to 5 and to want to get up every day and to work for someone else, it has to be doing something that I'm actually passionate about. And the job that I have now, I love. I enjoy it. Obviously, every job, there are some pros and cons. There are some things you're not going to love, there are some things you're not going to like. That comes with every job. But you learn to live with it, and you learn to just understand that if you were called to something bigger and called to something better, like entrepreneurship, then the job is just temporary and it's just a stepping stone to get you to the next level. So, patience allows you to plant seeds and trust the process without burning out or giving up too soon. I was burned out back in 2017, 2018 with three different jobs. I was burned out. I was tired, but I chalked it up to being young. I chalked it up to needing the money. I chalked it up to, just the grind lifestyle that most of us had back then, especially knowing that I had student loans I had to pay. I'm like, oh, I need the money, so I'm gonna just do what I need to do. No. And again, if that's what you feel led to do at a young age, cool. And don't regret it, learn from it. But now I'm not doing that. I am not doing that at all. And I will never do that again. If I do work multiple jobs, it will all make sense for what I'm doing, and they won't all be different. They will probably all be remote. I won't have to leave my house and drive back and forth, and it would just make more sense, y'all. So, moving on to number two, what impatience is costing your styling business? So, I've learned just talking through my journey and just remembering my experiences through life. I feel like when you're not patient, you waste a lot of time. Although it feels like you're moving fast and you're making decisions and you're doing all the right things, essentially you're wasting time because most of that time is being wasted doing things that you probably didn't need to do. Most of that time is doing things that, are probably taking you away from what you really should be doing. A lot of those times you're doing things that, how can I explain it? You're doing things that you may or may not have to redo later because you could be doing it completely wrong. For example, say something breaks in your house, and instead of calling a professional to come fix it, you try to fix it yourself. You have no idea what you're doing. You're just going to pull it up on YouTube and fix it. And you're doing this because it's cheaper. You're doing this because you don't want to wait. You're being impatient. And, you just want it fixed now. Okay, you fix it. You're able to fix it, but only temporarily. You're able to fix that thing. And 2 weeks later, it breaks again. And it's like, okay, if you would have called someone who was a professional to begin with, you wouldn't have wasted your time trying to fix something that you didn't know how to fix. You would, and time is money. So it's not just about, spending money on things and all of that. You can make the money back. That's not what I'm referring to. I'm referring to the time being wasted doing things that you think you're supposed to be doing when you in reality are not supposed to be doing them at all. So, constant pivoting, giving up when it's quiet, or rushing the process can actually delay your success, y'all. So, stop rushing into things. Stop trying to, and this is something that I'm saying to myself too, because there were plenty of times. As soon as I got a thought in my head, as soon as I got an idea in my head, I'm executing. Like, all right, that was cool. Let me figure out how I can do this now and execute. Because I know it's going to be successful. I know it's going to make me money. And I execute and nothing comes of it. Because there was no need for me to rush into doing that thing. It was just a thought. It was a thought and it was an idea that may not be for right now. Maybe I need to set it aside, write it down, save it for later, and properly plan for it the way that I'm supposed to. So stop rushing. Stop rushing into things. Stay grounded and focused even when you don't see immediate results. So, a lot of us are so focused on these overnight successes. These people who are, you know, randomly, or it looks as if they're randomly popping up on social media and becoming successful. You have to understand that you don't know everybody's story. You have to understand that behind the scenes, you don't know what they're going through. You don't know if they've been working on this for 20 plus years, crying, blood, sweat, and tears, asking for help, asking for money, applying for grants, doing all of these things, talking to people, doing a lot of what you see that they're getting paid for now, probably doing a lot of what they're getting paid for now for free. But you didn't see none of that. You just see the success that they have right now. And you, from outside looking in, it looks as if they woke up and were successful. And that's never the case. A lot of these individuals who are overnight successes have been working, have been doing what they needed to do to get to this point, and their time has come. So it's so important to not assume that you know everything about everybody's story. And it's also no need for you to be in everybody's business. I know it's easier said than done, y'all, with social media. I get it. Like social media can sometimes make you feel like nobody's watching you, nobody's looking at you, but everybody's looking at this person or everybody's looking at that person. But again, you don't know what those individuals are going through. You don't know what they've experienced. You don't even know if what they're posting is real. So it's so important for you to congratulate those individuals if you feel led, but don't be jealous. Don't compare yourself and pray about that. Because it's easy. It's so easy, y'all, to be jealous of people who are doing exactly what you want to do. It's so easy to be jealous of them. It's so easy to hate on them. It's so easy to feel like, damn, like, what am I doing wrong? What am I not doing enough of? Maybe I need to do more. Let me go out and get 3 jobs and see if that helps. Like, so I want to encourage you to be patient and to realize that when you're not patient, it's actually costing you more. It's actually costing you more. It's costing you more when it comes to your success, and it's delaying your success. So, the last point I want to talk about how to cultivate patience while still taking bold action. So, patience doesn't mean doing nothing. I definitely want to make sure y'all understand that because a lot of people feel like, I'm just waiting on God. I'm just doing these things. I'm just being patient. And some of them aren't doing anything. And it's like, bro, faith without works is dead. You can pray and you can be patient, but you still got to do what you're supposed to do. You still have to be obedient to what God is asking you to do. You still have to do your part. You still have to do the work. You still have to do the work, but it's a matter of trusting that the work that you're doing is enough to get you to where you need to be. And not feeling like, oh, I got to do more. I didn't do enough. Oh, I got to stay up all night and get this thing done because I said I was going to do it today. Just like my YouTube video I posted, was it yesterday? That was supposed to go out Tuesday, y'all. I was literally falling asleep trying to edit it. My back was in pain. I'm still trying to get over some of the back pain that I have, but literally was falling asleep trying to edit it and put it out on Tuesday. I said, you know what? It's okay. I'm gonna finish this video tomorrow and I'm gonna put it out tomorrow. The world doesn't end if you miss a deadline. Life doesn't end if you say that you're going to do something and you're now unable to do that thing when you said you were going to do it. So you have to give yourself grace and you have to understand that you are human. We are not superheroes. We are not God ourselves. We are human. So a lot of the things that we think that we can do, like that we think that we have the strength to do, we don't have the strength to do it by ourselves. So we have to pray about it. We have to ask for help. We have to seek help. We have to seek wisdom and pray for wisdom. If there's anything that you are going to take from this live segment about patience, I want to encourage you to pray for more patience, and I want to encourage you to pray for wisdom. Pray for patience and pray for wisdom. So it means moving with intention. Patience doesn't mean doing nothing. It means moving with intention. Moving with intention. So being intentional about the decisions that you're making, being intentional about the things that you're saying yes to, being intentional about the people that you're working with, being intentional about the things that you're saying, the things that you're doing. And it's okay if you say something that you don't mean. You can take it back. It's a lot of things sometimes I say that I didn't mean, or I don't really know how to say what I'm trying to say, and Sometimes you don't need to say anything, but also sometimes you just have to give yourself time to think, be patient with yourself, and give yourself time to think so you can say the right things and do the right things. When you take your time and when you really think through like what it is that you want to do, what it if this opportunity that has presented itself really makes sense for you. Now, don't take too long to think. Don't, spend too long thinking and second guessing and trying to make sure this is the right thing. Spend just enough time and you'll know, how much time is just enough. Spend just enough time thinking through, writing things down. Feel like if you need to do a pros and cons list, one of my friends, she does that often and it works for her. If you feel like you need to do that, do that. If you feel like you need to talk to other people, well, I'm not going to say other people, another person. Make sure those individuals have your best interest in mind. Make sure those individuals, have faith in you and have a relationship with God before you talk to them and ask them for advice. You can't just be asking any and every person for advice, y'all. And I say that from experience because not everybody has your best interest in mind. A lot of people are negative. I was a negative person, but I learned to surround myself with positive people and it helped me. I'm also, all about community. So I inserted myself into a community of women who are Christians and who believe in God and have faith. And I share with them what I'm going through. I share with them, my testimonies. And they give advice when advice is needed. They give encouragement when encouragement is needed. So I don't just go out and talk to any old body and ask them for their opinions and advice. I talk to the right people. And sometimes you have to talk to the wrong people in order to realize who the right people are that you should be talking to. But continue to be patient, continue to pray for patience, continue to be wise and pray for wisdom, and ask God to continue guiding you in the right direction. When it comes to your personal life, when it comes to your business, or whatever it is that you are doing. But as a CEO stylist, it's super important for you to have this trait. And I'm going to end it out here. It's super important for you to have patience because you're going to experience some things that you may not know how to deal with. You're going to experience clients who are clients from hell. You're going to experience, working with clients who are amazing. You're going to experience working with other industry experts and other stylists, and it may not be a fun experience. But when you have patience and you say yes to the right things, and or when you say yes to the wrong things and you take the opportunity to learn and grow your patience from that experience, then that's all that matters. So I hope this was helpful to you all. I hope that this gave you a different perspective on, on what being a CEO stylist is all about. And one of the characteristics that every CEO stylist should have is patience. So stay tuned for next week. We're going to break down another characteristic. There are 8. So for the next 8 weeks, we'll be focusing in on that. I'm trying to look at my calendar real quick to, I don't know why I'm in August, but July 10th. Yep. So we'll be back live at the usual time. But if anything changes, I will let y'all know. But again, thank y'all so much for tuning in. If you have any questions or if you want to comment below to let me know if this was relatable to you, then feel free to do that. But I will see you all next week. I hope you have a great holiday. Bye.